Lovely. So thank you for coming. We're here to talk about post-16's options. I'm Tony Leaf and I'm the development manager for Send Employability with Skills and Participation. So my role is around working towards our all our talents action plan, which is kind of our approach and how we want to work and how we want to commit to supporting our young people aged 16 to 24 with special educational needs or disabilities. And it's about how we use these opportunities to develop this county-wide, joined up and high performing offer, and how we utilise changes that have happened and reforms to ensure that we are best placed to provide the best pathways post 16 for all of our young people. Now, they're going to be different. As you all know, every young person is individual in that 16 to 24 age range. And I think what we want to use this opportunity to do is say there is a whole bunch of options out there. It can be very one option, kind of college FE pathways, but there's loads of existing stuff and there's loads of new pathways which we're going to go through. So all of our pathways are developed on the principles of preparing for adulthood. And I'm sure most of you are aware of these, but for those that don't know, these were principles that were pulled out of consultation that NDTI did and the DFE, Department for Education, endorsed. And it's around what these key principles are that provide the strongest pathways to adulthood for our SEND young people. And that's we kind of use employment as a foundation for that in our strategy and action plan because we know that employment can impact so other many points of your life. So we know that those in employment have more positive mental and physical health. We know that being employed, even as an adult, any adult, your employment is generally where you're making friends, that or the school ground, where you're making friends, becoming part of your community. Independent living can be impacted hugely by employment. And when we say independent living, we don't necessarily mean that classic going out and living in a house on your own. Everything from being able to afford to get on a bus and go out and have some leisure time is all about that independent living. So our focus is around employability pathways and the right time for young people, but also looking at that wider PFA and supporting young people to engage. Now, from year nine, preparing for adulthood outcomes should be being acknowledged in annual reviews. So we should be talking about these things from 14 year nine so that we're best prepared to look at what we can access in our post 16 sector. Joel, is there anything you wanted to add around that kind of PFA year nine outcome from your side?
Yeah, that'd be good to add in. Thanks, Tony. Hi everyone, my name's Joel Spencer. I'm one of the Special Educational Needs Officers for Hampshire Local Authority, and we oversee young people with education and healthcare plans. In regards to expanding what Tony was saying in relation to preparing for adulthood or PFA for EHCPs, obviously it's replacing the current headers pre-year 9 of cognition and learning, sensory and physical, to the employment, independent living, community inclusion and health. The purposes of changing these is to raise the aspirations for young people, allow them to start thinking about their future and start planning that pathway to adulthood. Now, this takes place from year 9 annual review process, which you could think was quite an early time to start thinking about that, but it sort of ties in with quite a crucial time of when most young people are thinking about their options for year 10 and 11. And that general process would start from year 9, although it can start from year 8 if required. In terms of just then, I guess, talking about annual review process from that, it's generally advised that you start looking at post 16 placements from year 10. These preferences can be documented in the year 10 and 11 annual review paperwork. From then, the local authority will contact all young people generally at the end of the summer term of year 10 to request what their preference would be for post 16. Following on from that, the local authority would then start consulting with your nearest setting alongside any preferences that you've requested. In terms of timescale, EHC plans need to be finalised by the 31st of March, naming that post 16 setting, although a lot of plans will be finalised before that date but that's the time frame that we would have to work to. Another important thing to mention is it's generally advised that a transition partnership agreement is held. So a meeting is held with the current setting and the post-16 setting, which can sometimes be merged with the year 11 review. The purpose of this is to kind of discuss the finer details of those transition arrangements and support with what is required for that smooth transition between the two settings. Generally, information around more general post-16 placements can be found by the Hampshire Local Offer website, but I'm obviously happy to answer any questions at the end of the presentation as well.
Lovely, thank you, Joel.
Can I just jump in there a minute, Tony? We seem to have lost all the chat function. I'm not sure why it's been disabled. Once I made you host, I lost any ability to do anything. So if it's all right with you, can you just carry on and do the presentation? Then we'll do a question and answer session at the end, and we can do it on a hands up and each individual ask their question.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. And then as soon as I finish presenting, I'll also hand back the lead to yourself. So
thank you
for everything. That's no problem.
Thanks.
Okay. So next we're looking at kind of that, as Joel said, he talked about kind of the EHCP process and annual reviews around post-16 options. We're going to look at some of the other kind of ways and support there. I'm going to hand over to Candice at this point.
Thank you. So, hi everyone, my name is Candice Reynolds and I am the project coordinator working with Tony. So, I'm going to talk to you a little bit, like Tony said, about what's available to all young people. So, career guidance is something that is a statutory requirement. So, every school and college from year 8 onwards has a duty to offer some form of career guidance. This does vary in how it is delivered. So more information can be found on the provider's website, or the school or college's website. They should have a copy of their careers policy. Should be in the main word there, not all of them do, but hopefully they will. If you can't find it, or if once you read it you've got any questions, you can speak to the career leader. Sometimes they're called career leaders and other times they're career coordinators, but that's basically the member of staff in school who is responsible for the careers education within that school or college setting. So it's a really good idea to have a chat with them and find out how they're supporting your young people. It's also, sorry, I've lost my train of thought there. We've also got the online resource, careers resource, which is the Hampshire Futures one. So we're trying to put a link into the chat at the end, and we can send it out to you afterwards. But on our Hampshire Futures Careers website, there's lots and lots of information on there, from links to career videos, if people prefer to watch videos. There's Word documents where they can read the information if they learn better by reading. There's interactive videos as well, so they can watch a recorded presentation on the TED website, and then speak some questions and answers to sort of really embed that thinking. They've got a specific section on there as well, a STEM section, and on there are some leaflets as well about moving the transition between moving from school to college. So that's another thing that you might find interesting. Are you okay to admit them if you need us to?
Holly, we've had someone, Louise, who wants to come in. Are we all right to admit them?
Yeah, please do. I can't do it.
It's fine. Just wanted to make sure. Okay.
Sorry. So yeah, so it's a really good website to have a look at. Another one so that one has got a career section. Sort of, it has school, college, and university section on there. So it can be used from sort of year 7 upwards. So there's things for everyone in there. Another one which is gives you more detail about people who are at risk of being NEET is the Careers Help Hampshire County Council.
So, sorry, just to say, NEET, we use acronyms a lot.
Sorry.
It's not in education, employment, or training. So it's young people that might not be accessing any of those at the moment, or might be at risk of stopping accessing those, the education, employment, or training.
Yes, sorry, we do use a lot of acronyms. So yes, so there's more information on that. Another big website which we haven't listed is Career Pilot as well. So Career Pilot is a really nice pictorial careers website, which has got lots of information in there as well. So definitely recommend using that one. So just waiting for the slide to catch up with that. So as we were saying, there is an awful lot of there's a lot of options available to young people when they leave school. One of them is college, so they might decide that they want to go to college and do one of the courses. I'm not going to overly focus on the courses at college today because there's already a lot of information about for those, but we wanted to highlight a couple of other options. So the other options that there are traineeship classes. So there's a bit of detail on the slides for these as well, and links which again we can send out afterwards. A traineeship plus is for someone who might not quite be ready to go straight into an apprenticeship. So they help you improve your chances of finding an apprenticeship or paid employment, and they help you prepare for the world of work. Another option in Hampshire is Skills to Achieve, which is delivered by NM Trust. So they are in Basingstoke, Southampton, Portsmouth and Eastleigh, and they've got a really lovely video on their website which tells you a little bit more about them. So that's another option. We've then got what we call PIE, so it's another acronym, which is for Preparation for Independence and Employment. And we know it's so much from PIE that I've just had to actually read that off the slide. PIE is for entry level 1 to level 1. They look at things like independent living, travel skills, confidence building, teamwork. So all of those more softer skills, I'd say, the fundamental things to actually helping your person get into work. So that is another option. They would then move on to a supported internship or a traineeship. Apprenticeships I've already mentioned, but apprenticeships you normally need to be at roughly level 2 to be able to go on to an apprenticeship. So it may be that a traineeship for the PIE might be better first and then moving on to an apprenticeship. But an apprenticeship is basically where you're employed full-time by an employer, and then you do some learning alongside that. So that could be with a college or a training provider. Apprenticeships roughly are, say, 80% in the workplace and 20% the sort of the theory side of it. So in real terms, that could look at sort of 4 days at work and 1 day a week with a training provider or a college. So you come out the same level if you were doing that at college, the same qualification, but it's a different way of learning. It's certainly not the easy option, as people used to believe, because you are balancing that employability with the learning. And another one, which we're going to go into in a little bit more detail, is the supported internship. So a supported internship is a study programme. It is for 16 to 24-year-olds and they must have an EHCP to be able to do it. Next steps from a supported internship would be employment. So it is like an employment pathway, so it's preparing the individual to become employed. So within these supported internships, they are developing those skills that employers value. So it's all about preparation for employment. It enables them to demonstrate their value in the workplace as well and build their confidence. So they might not feel that they're quite ready, but by doing this sort of internship, that will help not just develop those skills, but also help them see that they have those skills also as well. And as I've already mentioned, the ideal outcome from a supported internship is paid employment. It is an employment pathway. Did you want to add anything?
It was just that the primary goal at the end of that supported internship is paid employment, but we also do encourage to look at apprenticeships following supported internships. So the young person has completed their supported internship and wants to continue to learn, but primarily in a workplace, an apprenticeship can be a good step so that they're then getting paid for their time in the workplace and still continuing to learn.
Yeah, and I think that is the key thing. Is like I do it with my own children every day to school day, because they might want to keep learning, they might want to keep progressing, and apprenticeships you can do at any age. So unlike the supported internships that only got 24, you can do an apprenticeship at any age. So that is always an option for them. So the benefits of the supported internship. So as already mentioned, you can gain new skills. They get supported. I can't think what I'm trying to say now. So they get supported to build the skills that the employers are looking for. I'd be able to identify them within themselves as well, and do all of those things that you need to do to get a job. So the employability skills side of it. So learning how to write a CV, how to go through interviews. By doing this supported internship, they should be doing an element of work experience. So that will give them that financial and personal independence. It gives them improved health and community engagement, as Tony's already said. A lot of people make friends through work. It does improve confidence, well-being, and self-esteem. Again, they're giving back. They're actually achieving something every day. So that helps them build that level of value.
And when we say supported, just to add, that's generally done for a job coach, what we call job coach or skill coach, that will go into the workplace with the young person and show them how to do the job alongside a manager or mentor within the employer environment. And that will start off being quite a lot of the time. And then as that young person gains confidence in the workplace and is able to be more independent, they will start kind of removing that support. And that placement under a supported internship might start as 1 day a week with a couple of days in education, but we would expect to see that grow over kind of up to 38 weeks that the programme is on. They're seen as really kind of beneficial ways for young people to continue to learn while accessing and experiencing the workplace.
Okay, so there's lots of places across the country that offer supported internships. So colleges do offer them, so it's worth looking at your local colleges or any colleges that you might be interested in. And we also offer them at Hampshire Central, so we have a Hampshire Achieve department who specialise in them. There's also Project Choice, which is NHS Foundation Trust Programme, and they deliver supported internships within hospitals in Hampshire. Already mentioned about colleges. This isn't an exhaustive list though, so it is worth doing a bit of your own research and investigation, just to see if there's these things come up all the time in colleges and other big employers might implement them, so it is always worth looking into what is around at the moment. Okay, now we're going to move on. So that's basically a little bit about the importance of having a skills education throughout school, but also throughout college, because that will help your young people navigate all of these different options, and also they're there to support you as well. So if there's anything that you're not sure of, you should be able to go to them and ask questions. That's a very, very brief overview of the options available. And now we're going to talk to you a little bit about our SEND Employability Hub. So the SEND Employability Hubs are part of the All Our Talent strategy that we're piloting in Hampshire. So they are being developed to deliver a programme focusing on the elements SEND young people need to gain independence and skills. So I'm actually going to stop reading from the side because that sounds really cool. But the idea of it really is to embed those employment pathways from day one at college. So we have pilot colleges across Hampshire that are doing this, working with us, and they are putting your young people, their students, onto the employability hub, which runs alongside, well, it's different ways of doing it. Some run alongside the courses they're already doing, and other colleges, the employability hub is the main focus. And the whole idea of it is that they become employment ready. So it's really building that vocational profile from day one. It's looking at what skills they've got, what skills they need to build, and how the college and the employers can help them do that. I've probably missed a lot there.
No, I just want to say that when we talk about our employability hub offer, it's about saying that this is it's not it won't be for every single young person in this room. So this is around an employability pathway. We kind of estimate for about 60% of our SEND young people. These are young people that are accessing post-16 who have passion, ambition, and want to be moving directly into employment after their time in the post-16 providers. So there'll be some young people that are on university pathways, and this isn't to replace that. We want to support our young people heading to university to go there. There'll be some young people that require longer than kind of the 3-year programme plan that this is in education in order to gain kind of those independent living skills in order to progress. And we recognise that, and it's not for those young people. What this is about finding those young people in that centre ground that want to go out to employment and want to be best prepared for that, and providing them with the right skills and support so they can make that transition in line with their peers, so that they're not having to wait a few years to get all those extra skills in order to be able to transition on, so that we can provide the best support that's tailored for each individual as they start in year 12 in their post-16 journey.
Thank you. So I'm going to be completely honest, I've only been in the post for a month, so I'm still learning it all myself. So sorry if we keep talking backwards and forwards.
I just wanted to comment that obviously, I'm sure this is going to come up on another slide, and Candice has given me a window now, so I'm going to keep jumping in. But another part of what we do within the programme is around employers. So we do great work with the colleges about providing those skills, those soft skills, practical skills and functional skills to best prepare young people for the workplace. But we also work with employers. So it's about how we generate the right job opportunities that are supportive and make sure our employers have a good level of awareness around SEND needs and disability awareness in the workplace. So that when young people are ready to move into employment, or even when they're adults 10 years down the line and they want to move up and move forward in their careers, that the employers that they're engaging with are best prepared in their recruitment policies and inclusive practices to provide those opportunities. So it's not just about focusing on the young person, it's about focusing on the entire sector skill base and making sure we're best prepared to have that skills and talents in our workplace. There's a huge untapped market of skills and talent for our young people, who are a lot of them very ambitious and passionate about moving into employment. So it's about working across the board in that window.
It's basically joining up in the dots. So you've got young people that have got all of these skills and qualities that they can bring to an employer, and it's making or helping supporting the employer see the potential that they have there, and then linking it all together and working with them both in sort of an advocacy role to make sure that it is a successful career progression for them.
So we've said quite a lot of this, I think. So this is kind of what the programme looks like. It's about, the way I like to describe it is we're taking educational priorities. So young people go into FE with a priority on those education, and we're trying to combine that with supported employment principles. So we're trying to make sure that a young person has every opportunity to be stretched and challenged in their education and achieve education as far as they can, while also providing them with opportunities to engage with the workplace, gain an understanding of what they want to do when they get older. I'm not sure about anyone else, I wasn't entirely sure at 17, 19, 20 what I wanted to do. So having this space to have those conversations about what your aspirations are and what skills you might need to reach them, alongside that education, so that all works together to move and progress into employment.
Okay, so the eligibility to become onto one of our employment hubs is they must have an education healthcare plan before starting college. So that does have to be in place already. And age-wise, they need to be starting year 12, so it will start straight from statutory education. So the enrolment is that the, no, sorry, I've already said that. So that is the main thing for that.
And what we would say, and I'm sure this is on a slide moving forward, that if you or one your young people are interested in joining an employability hub, you can call up your local college and we'll give you the names of the colleges that are on the have employability hub, and chat to them about whether that's the right pathway and have a conversation with them. You can have a chat at your annual review or your Senkos in schools to see if this would be a good pathway for your young person. It's all about those young people that are ambitious and passionate about employment pathways, coming into these programs that can provide them the best support to do that moving forward. So I'm sure that is going to pop up on the slide later, but that's kind of where we are. So this is just kind of why we're doing it. Why are we doing it? So what we want to do is have young people that have those opportunities to engage in their education, but also their skills and personal development in line with that preparing for adulthood. So for example, we know if a young person has 4 opportunities to engage with the workplace positively while they're in school or college, they're 5 times more likely to maintain employment when they leave education. So we're trying to provide those opportunities for those positive engagements, support young people to make those timely progressions. So that might be to paid employment, it might be to a paid apprenticeship, it might be into kind of further community work or development or volunteering opportunities, or even some kind of further adult learning alongside paid jobs. So finding those ways for those young people to transition timely and positively when it's right for them, and creating, as we said, that wider employment market that recognises those skills and talents of those young people and helping them move their careers forward. This isn't just about accessing a job when you walk out of FE, it's about accessing a career pathway. We talk about the ABC of careers in the employment hubs. Any job, better job, career. So it's the understanding that no one walks in, unless you're exceptionally lucky, not many of us walked into our career job straight out of education. But you get a job and you build those skills in the workplace in order to get a better job, which you then build more skills that moves you into that career pathway. And what we're trying to do is support young people from that any job, better job, so that when they're moving into adulthood, they're best placed to be moving on to their career pathways.
I've just said that people learn by doing as well, lots of people, and by having these opportunities, then they are learning also what they don't like as well as what they like, and that is just as valuable.
And as predicted, I was jumping ahead of the slides. I knew they were in there somewhere. This is how you can talk to people. And these are our current employability hubs. So we will send the slides out, and obviously this is being recorded, so you can keep a list of them. I would hope that most of you have one that is quite local. If you don't, let us know. We'll start talking to colleges in other areas and get some more on board. So I just wanted to take an opportunity to talk to you about another kind of post-16 option we are working on. And we've just opened our first Send Independence Hub this September. The Send Independence Hub is slightly different from our employability hubs. And they're around supporting our higher needs learners, our severe learning difficulty and complex needs learners that would historically have kind of stayed in special school or specialist provision. What we're doing is providing opportunities for them to transition at year 12 into mainstream sites. So our first provision is looking at how we provide supported and positive post-16 transitions for our higher needs learners. So how can we support those with complex needs to access our FE sites and college sites? And what we've done is provided safe physical spaces. We've worked with the colleges to look at the physical space, what adaptation needs of the campus, but also how we can best provide an inclusive post-16 environment for our highest needs learners. How can we offer them the safety and security of a specialist education offer, while still providing them with the opportunities and bespoke facilities that can be available within FE environments, and ensuring that they have a curriculum that reflects those 4 principles of adulthood, those principles of preparing for adulthood, and provides them with those aspirations to move forward into independent lives and fulfilling futures. Well, as I said, the hubs are around those higher need learners. We opened our first hub at Alton campus of HPCN this September, and we'll be opening additional sites. So these are brand new, either brand new buildings or brand new converted areas within these colleges. And we'll be opening a further one at Brockenhurst College, Andover College, and Farnborough College of Technology in 2023. And the idea is to allow those supported transitions, as I said, for our highest needs learners as they enter post-16. If anyone is interested in or thinks their young person might be best suited for this, we're doing quite a lot of transition activities with the colleges. What we want to do is be able to provide opportunities for parents of young people to come and see the venue, have taster sessions, undertake activities, and really get an idea of what the offer is and how it's comparable for other post-16 offers for these needs of learners within Hampshire. And this will be a really positive transition opportunity for many of our young people. It won't be the right one for every young person. So we're really looking to share this opportunity with as many families as we can and give them the opportunity to come and see the hubs, see what the offer is, and make those decisions as we move into the next term, where those deadlines, as Joel mentioned earlier, are going to start creeping up. So that's it for stopping slides. I think if I press that.
I think we've got a question.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
What I'm going to do in a moment is open it up for questions. Just one thing I picked up, Tony, that I hope one of you might be able to answer is you said the apprenticeships are for full-time learning, possibly 4 days in a work placement, 1 day in a education. If there was needed to be reasonable adjustments because a young person could not work a full-time 40 hours a week or whatever, would that be able to be considered?
So you can have flexible apprenticeships. They are generally the education provider can arrange that and the employer. Yeah, there's absolutely no reason that apprenticeship has to be a full-time course. Some education providers don't provide flexible apprenticeship, although they all should. But yes, the majority will be able to provide some flexibility within that programme, yes.
Brilliant, thank you. And Joel, just before we open it up for questions, did you have anything else to add from your perspective?
Not at the moment. I think my main advice would be that if you're unsure around options and things and having looked through to liaise with your casework officer within your locality, who'd be more than happy to kind of support with that. But it's generally just to outline the kind of process with that annual review and the kind of stages that we're sort of moving towards with preparing for adulthood. But yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions around process or things like that as well.